Hey. What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking, people? What's going on? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Agostino. Welcome back. Random show settings with your friend, the one you wish you never knew, Agostino Zingo. What's happening? Random show episode number 236. Episode number 236. With your host, Agostino Zinga. What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking? Thank you for tuning in. Random show settings. Hope you are well. Hope you are good. Hope you are well. Hope you are good. Hope you are well. Hope you are good. Hope you are well. How am I? All good, all things considered. I cannot complain. You know how it is. Keep on turning on, one foot in front of the other. All that good stuff, all that malarkey. Hope you're well. What I've been up to, not that much really, innit? Can't really complain about the things that I've been up to. But past episode actually of the random show, I had a bit of an issue, so apologies for those of you who are waiting on it forever. I did end up kind of, just merging them together, but basically I streamed last night, and unfortunately the first part was a bit fucked towards the end because I had like a million tabs open on my laptop, so shit was kind of lagging. So I restarted it, started again, and then then I opened the second part of the show talking about the academics lawsuit, and I didn't know the lawsuit was extremely graphic and also contained some very dicey pictures that I ended up having on stream, which obviously I got dinged for, so I had to edit all that, kind of cover it up before I re-uploaded it. So I just thought, you know what, why not take it down and just merge two parts together and make it one. So that should be already up on my channel now, episode number 235, so check that out already. It's got timestamps added on it as well. I'm going forward, because these random shows are usually quite long and I don't want to waste anybody's time, I'm gonna be more on it with putting timestamps on. I'll just do it when I finish, so I don't get lazy. I'll just kind of quickly run through and put the timestamps there, so anybody that wants to watch it after the fact, you can watch it nice and and easily, and jump around wherever you need to be on the fucking show and see what you want to check out, innit? So apologies for those of you who've been waiting for me to add timestamps and not be lazy. I'll be doing that going forward now. Apart from that, what else I need to talk about quickly? That's it really, isn't it? Yeah, we got some news to talk about, obviously. Adam 22 from No Jumper dropped a bit of a bombshell about the future of No Jumper. We'll go over that. We're gonna do a watch along of the latest SCHAUB show, and we're also going to do a couple other bits and bobs here and there, but those are the main two chunks that we're going to be covering: the Adam 22 stuff with No Jumper restructuring, and then of course we're going to be doing a watch along with our favorite, our buddy, our papa, Brendan SCHAUB, on the latest episode of SCHAUB Show. So welcome back to the random show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you that's always here checking out and hanging out with me. As per usual, if you like what you see what you like along the time you're watching the stream, make sure you're liking it down below. That'd be greatly appreciated, so people can kind of find out what's going on. And yeah, man, get active in the chat, all that good stuff. You know how it is, standard stream shit, innit? I don't need to tell you motherfuckers. Moving on. Let's just jump on in straight away. Let's talk about this. I saw this on your Twitter, and I was actually wondering, why did this happen, do you think? Why were people so quick to fucking tattletale, to open their mouths, to fucking blabble about such a good working situation? Just as during, obviously, the peak of COVID, I think for the most part, not actually peak of COVID, I take it back. This was actually when we all went back to work for that small period of time. We all went back to our offices when COVID was kind of subsiding. There were all these videos that were going viral of people working in, big tech companies, and they had these amazing head offices that had just crazy amenities like gyms and cafes and bars and all these really amazing things to basically make the workers, environment or workers' experience working in these places that more comfortable. They ended up spreading like wildfire because for the most part, the people that were in the videos, they weren't just showing off the amazing facilities there that work. They were also demonstrating that they hardly did anything. And the funny thing is, it was mostly girls, just an observation, but it was mostly women who were kind of getting away with just like doing the bare minimum. And a part of me, I can't hate the fucking hustle, but it also was annoying because those girls or those people, they ruined it for all of us, because now these corporates or now these corporations and these startups, they're very aware of people taking the piss. So a lot of them fired a bunch of people, And a lot of them now don't really offer some of these kind of perks that were all there free and for everybody to use. So let me just quickly play this video, because I thought this was a really good reminder as to how good we used to have it, and why a small group of people who just can't keep their mouth shut had to spoil it for all of us.
Whatever happened to those day in the life working in tech vlogs?
They got laid off. They all got laid off. I'm watching these videos of these young people coming in after 8 o'clock, getting their little latte and breakfast, going to their desk, firing off an email, attending one meeting, then preparing for lunch, come back from lunch, firing off a couple more emails, one more meeting, and then preparing for happy hour. If you don't think corporate America is watching you and your low productivity, especially when remote work is getting canceled, don't mess with corporate America's money.
Exactly. And I just can't work out why these girls were so quick to fucking tell everybody. Keep that shit to yourself. That was such a good hustle. Some of us, I know for myself, I was lucky enough to work in a couple of places where, for the most part, you know, I got my job done. My actual job spec was done by like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Sometimes I just go for like an hour and a half lunch and no one would realize. But my actual job that I had to do was done by like 2 p.m. and the rest of the day was just spent kind of responding to emails, you know. And a lot of us, that's how our jobs kind of were, and we kind of got away with it by just keeping our heads down, doing the best that we could at work. We're working as hard as we could when needed be, and obviously enjoying ourselves out of it. But we didn't blast out and advertise all this other shit, because I think this place I worked at before, actually, I think if I remember it correctly, 2 weekends out of the month, from Wednesday to Friday, there was always alcohol available. So that's 2 weekends of the month, or 2 weeks of the month. From Wednesday to Friday, there was always free alcohol in the fridge. So you could always kind of, you know, the week before payday and the week of payday, there was always fucking alcohol. So you could always have a couple of beers, have a fucking, you know, have a JD and Coke, and be able on your way going out with all your work colleagues. And then if you wanted to come back there, you could, because sometimes you'd go out with the HR girls and they had the keys, or you'd go out with the front of house people or the receptionist, or you might have a set of keys yourself that you just keep secret to yourself, or you know the code of the fucking doors, so you come back in later and have an afters and just keep it kind of hush hush. Like, people were doing these things all the time at work. It was quite fun. If anything, a lot of companies turned a blind eye to it and kind of pretend like they didn't know what was going on, but they kind of did. But they did it under the kind of under the quiet agreement that they were giving you this kind of liberty, they were giving you this kind of grace, they were giving you these kind of, you know, things to do or things to enjoy at workplace, so that you would then work harder, because you're obviously spending more time at work, so they're kind of getting you anyway. You think you're kind of getting one over on them by getting a free breakfast, by having your dinner there, by having drinks there and stuff, but you're also spending an ungodly amount of time there. And I also remember when I was working in these jobs, my kind of balance between my work-life balance wasn't good. I spent a lot of time outside. Like, I was outside every single day. Like, we outside was a way of life for me. It wasn't on me, it was in me. And, you know, I think everything else outside of my life was suffering as well, because I was spending so much of my life and social life revolved around work, drinking all the time, you know, doing copious amounts of fucking class A drugs and just going crazy. But again, I was also working really hard, but I wasn't broadcasting on social media. So I think these kids who kind of, again, advertised it all on social media and kind of signaled it out there, they really did themselves a disservice, especially if you're gonna, I think it's one thing to show off your workplace and brag about where you work and be proud of it, but if you're going to show off your workplace and then also show us that you don't do any work, you're an idiot. It's one thing to show off your cool workplace. I'm gonna go, look at these amazing sofas we got. We got this cool snooker table. We got some great darts here. We can play darts here. You can play golf here, mini golf, whatever. Cool. But then don't show us that you work fucking 3 hours in a day, if that. Most of the time it's spent just eating. That's why I remember those videos of those girls on TikTok. Most of it was just like sitting in front of a laptop with a plate of food next to them, constantly just eating something. And that makes a lot of sense too. I'm sure some of you guys have worked with those type of people who always had a fucking snack in their mouth. You could always hear rustling underneath their fucking desk because they had like a little carrier bag full of, you know, whatever, some sort of snacks that they bought on the way there. Always fucking constantly eating. And then when somebody brought a pizza, or when work brought a pizza, or it was someone's birthday, they also ate that. So you're like, fucking hell, man, you don't stop eating, innit? You brought your own food. You're eating the food in the office, and then when someone's got a special occasion, you also don't pass on it. Everything that comes around your desk, you're fucking eating it. So it's like, god damn, man. But yeah, I miss that era. But I think also for the corporations, it must be a good time to kind of, you know, cull all of the idiots and get all of the fucking non-essential workers out of the building, the ones who weren't contributing much. As we all know, most of the time in big companies, I think they say, like, in companies far and wide, no matter what size you are, it's usually like the 10% of the workforce that's the one that's actually contributing to 90% of the success of the company, isn't it? It's always like a small group of people who are really putting in the work. So maybe this sort of thing kind of sped up that process and got the right people out. No, so the wrong people out and the right people in. So that might be the case. But damn, man, I miss those era, man. Honestly, that's some one place I worked in. I remember legitimately on a Friday, you'd open the fridge and it'd just be rows and rows of beers. And obviously with the HR receptionist girls who work in these companies, they're usually bored and don't have much to do. So they would spend an ungodly amount of time lining up all the beers with the labels facing you on the outside. So you just saw all of these like amazingly organized fucking beverages that would chill to the right temperature. Buds, Kronenbergs, Heineken, all just staring at you, glistening. You'd be like, oh shit, man, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. But, you know, these kids had to go spoil everything. So what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? What are you guys telling me in the stream chat? What are you guys telling me? Yeah. Big up Don Dotter, big up NJ Ranger. I see you. What's happening? Yeah, I never understood why people flex on socials with so low stress, high job. I'd be keeping it secret until retirement. Exactly, man. Come on, man. Just sometimes shut up. Sometimes keep it low. I remember some guy, I forgot his name. Some Moving Silence. There was some guy that I remember back in the day from my sneaker days. I forgot his name. Some fat dude that used to be associated with crooked tongues. Fat dude, ginger with freckles and stuff. I remember when I was first doing a bit of graffiti, when I was first getting up out here, right? When I was trying to go all city, I think I was posting something. I might have been posting it on MySpace or something. I don't know what I was posting. I was posting something, like posting some kind of quick throw ups ideas and shit, right? And I remember he kind of like, I think that was the first time I noticed somebody doing a subtweet to me, and he said something like, oh, real gangsters move in silence, or something. I don't know, he said something like that back in the day, a long time ago. And I remember not really understanding what he said, and I googled it. I didn't understand what he said, and I think I googled it, and I thought, oh, okay, you got to move in. Obviously I was still annoyed, and I don't know if I called him out on it, I'm not too sure, but I remember that kind of sitting with me, but like, oh yeah, true. Why am I showing everybody why am I allowing people to associate my tag with my face? It shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be kind of, you know what I mean? It should be like a little personal private pursuit, which it obviously is. No one needs to know what my tag is and shit. But here I am kind of blasting it out and showing people my fucking early, you know, fucking sketches. Yeah, I remember that. I was thinking, wow, what's this guy talking about? But yeah, it's just a random memory that popped in my head. I was like, fuck, I used to be that guy. Big up Z. I know people who get fired because their boss saw them. They were in Cancun on their sick days. Never have public account or a regular person. Don't add the bosses. Yes, oh my God, Z. Thank you, Z. But you know what's weird? This new generation of people in the workplace, they're fucking psychotic. Like, I remember having like almost a bit of an argument with an ex-colleague I used to work with, because they basically they ran out of holiday days, and as regular people do sometimes, if you run out of holiday days, we all do it. You sometimes will call in sick to just get one day. So maybe you need a weekend to go away somewhere, and you might just call in sick one day and just go do a holiday and do whatever. But you also have to know, when you do that, you also have to move inside. You have to kind of be aware and commit to the lie forever. You have to kind of let that shit go to your grave. I'm sure some of you guys will do it. It's the same thing with lying about somebody in your family passing away to get out working. You shouldn't pull that cord often, because obviously it's bad karma, right? Saying somebody in your family passed away in order to get out of work. But you know, when you do it, there's no coming back. You have to kind of live with that lie. Cool, right? We all understand this thing. So I remember arguing with this guy at work, and I was like, bro, you know, you can't just be sharing what you're like posting as but I'm off sick anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, but that's not gonna look good. Like, and I had to try and get through to him that calling in sick to work and then doing stuff and posting it about on social media isn't a good look. Like, yes, technically no one's expecting you to be in your bed all day, But like going to the gallery and shopping and hang, like no. Just stay off social media that one day if possible. Don't even like anything. Like just leave it. Just let your account be a bit dead for that one day. But this guy was struggling to fucking handle that and kind of, get his head wrapped around it. But I think it's just a generational thing. Some people just don't give a fuck. And it's like, bruh, you're getting yourself in trouble for free. Why would you do that? But, I guess some people have different ways of kind of looking at work. And maybe some people look at it as like an opportunity to be like confrontational and just get into some passer for the sake of it. Fuck it. But yeah, big up that guy. Wherever he is, big up that guy. Moving on. You got this video here. Have you guys seen this? Happy Punch. Big up Happy Punch. Happy Punch put together this compilation of Conor McGregor. I think he was recently on stream. I'm not too sure if he's sponsored by Steak, if he was doing it on fucking Kick. I'm sure it must have been Kick. But Conor McGregor was recently on stream and he sent for all these people. Look at the list of people that he sent for. Khabib, Kamaru Usman, Ilia Topuria, Alexander Volkanovski, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, Aiden Ross and True Geordie. Look at all these people fucking Conor McGregor found a way to insult in one fucking stream. The second thing I want to point out, isn't it interesting how much better Conor sounds and looks? So all those things that people were saying about Conor bringing on coke and getting fucked up every day was true, because now he's like actually in camp for this fight coming up. He actually looked good. He sounds clear-headed. He sounds like the normal Conor that we all know, which is quite good to see, to be honest. So I'm actually excited for the fight. Whether or not he's going to put in a good performance is another thing, but I'm actually just excited to see him back in the octagon. But this is Conor McGregor going at absolutely everybody. Fucking love it.
Khabib owes his bollocks to the Russian government. That's typical rat behaviour. Scurrying rat. Fight for Legacy, 2 main events or something he has in the UFC. Fuck Kamaru Usman. He's a bum. What the fuck about Usman, yeah? Opinions on Tuporio. Fuck him too. Don't give a fuck about him either. He reminds me of a little retard Artem Lobov.
Jesus
Tuporio
Christ.
does, yeah? Two little retards. Thoughts on Volkanovski, no thoughts as well. Fuck him too. I'd have kicked his head clean off his shoulders, and that's a fact. Who the fuck is that guy? I don't know who the fuck he is. You can't be. There's too many decisions going on now with that Leon fella. Leon Edwards loves a decision. He's not fighting another decision guy. Your man Bilal. Not great times in the welterweight title picture. 150,000 buyers. If it's even a pay-per-view, it's probably not even a pay-per-view. Do you know Aiden Ross? He was talking shit. Haven't a clue who the guy is. Not a fucking iota. Thoughts on True Geordie? Fucking a fool. A fat fool. Another nothing. A jackass.
A fat fool. Honestly, I fucking love him. I really do. You just sitting there going fucking mad at everybody. But yeah, I'm eager to see his return back to the octagon. I really fucking am. He's looking and sounding sober. He's not looking yacked up all the time. Honestly, I swear to God, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let me replay it. Big up NJ Ranger. Of course I'll replay it. Big up NJ Ranger.
Khabib owes his bollocks to the Russian government. That's typical rat behaviour. Scurrying rat. Fight for Legacy, 2 main events or something he has in the UFC. Fuck Kamaru Usman. He's a bum. What the fuck about Usman, yeah? Opinions on Tuporio. Fuck him too. Don't give a fuck about him either. He reminds me of a little retard Artem Lobov. Tuporio does, yeah? Two little retards. Thoughts on Volkanovski, no thoughts as well. Fuck him too. I'd have kicked his head clean off his shoulders, and that's a fact. Who the fuck is that guy? I don't know who the fuck he is. You can't be. There's too many decisions going on now with that Leon fella. Leon Edwards loves a decision. He's not fighting another decision guy. Your man Bilal. Not great times in the welterweight title picture. 150,000 buyers. If it's even a pay-per-view, it's probably not even a pay-per-view. Do you know Aiden Ross? He was talking shit. Haven't a clue who the guy is. Not a fucking iota. Thoughts on True Geordie? Fucking a fool. A fat fool. Another nothing. A jackass.
Conor's definitely one of the people on my, people have a bucket list of people that you want to, people are like, oh, I'd love to smoke with fucking Snoop Dogg. Fuck smoking with Snoop Dogg. I'd love to get it on, Jesus Christ. No, Diddy. I'd love to get on it with fucking Conor. I swear to God. I would love, it'd be my pleasure, it'd be an honor it'd be an honor to share a baggie with fucking Conor McGregor. Could you imagine how fun that would be? Could you imagine the stories? Can you imagine the bants? Could you imagine the fucking lols? Could you imagine the stories that I could tell from that one occasion? Could you imagine the fucking likes, the engagement I'd get from that picture? Me and Conor standing side by side, fucking sweating with my fist like that, doing the fucking MMA, the fighter fist pose thing. Could you imagine how many likes I'd get on Instagram if I posted that on Twitter? The video would go viral on fucking YouTube. You remember? Imagine me, my face all sweating. Like, you clearly see my face sweating, jaw moving, pupils dilated next to fucking Conor. Like, just like smiling. Like, it'd be so fucking fun. Be like, yeah, he's my little nigger. My little nigger, huh? My little nigger. I got you know. I love this guy. I love this big fat big fat black bastard. I love him. I'd fucking love it. I'd love it, bro. It'd be so fun. I love this guy. His name is too fucking long, but I love him. His name is too fucking long. Honestly, I love it. I fucking love it. It'd be so fun. Honestly, Conor's definitely on my list, and I'm sure it happened at one time. Honestly, Conor's my Wayne Lineker. You know how people like obsess about Wayne Lineker? Conor's my Wayne Lineker, honestly, and I'm sure it's gonna happen. I'm sure there's gonna be a time where I'll meet him, and I'm just gonna be like, bro, would you do me the honor of accompanying me to a toilet cubicle? Would you do me that honor, please, sir? I love you so much. I look up to you so much. I love your story. I watched your journey. You are the true and the only UFC superstar. You will go down in history as the greatest of all time. Please, would you do me this honor of accompanying me to the nearest toilet cubicle? Big up Conor McGregor. I fucking love that guy. I fucking love that guy. Honestly, I really, really do. By the way, could we spare a thought for hate watching? Could we spare a thought for hate watching? So I saw this clip, right? And it made me think. This might explain why we all enjoy pointing and laughing at people like Brendan and everybody else. Because this term hate watch is something that I've been kind of wrapping my head around, because I think hate is a loaded word, because I don't really hate anybody except for Dark Side Phil. But I think that does describe this like entertainment. It does describe this like area of YouTube we're all kind of existing, where we kind of watch stuff about people that we don't like, you know, technically, or we watch stuff about people not on their own platforms, but via other people, right? So I think most of you guys on here probably don't even watch the fucking streams. You probably don't listen to T-Fat-K. You probably don't even watch Joe Rogan. You probably don't watch Bert Kreischer, but you watch them through me and other people, which is kind of bizarre, right, to think about it. But there's probably way more people out there who don't watch anything directly from the people, but only watch them through like the aggregators and the commentators, which is fucking insane to think about it. Imagine there's a whole group of people out there who've never watched a single full episode of Joe Rogan, but they listen to or gather bits and pieces from the JRE from other podcasters and YouTubers. Anyway, long story short, and on that subject as well, there's no one actually maybe I'll start doing that now, because this whole Brendan thing is a little bit tired and everyone's doing it. There's no one actually on this little scene who actually talks about Rogan, innit? Just as the Rogan guests and just Rogan in general. It's mostly just like Brendan, Bert, and all this stuff. It's never really Rogan stuff, innit? Maybe I might start doing that, because I listen to Rogan all the time. I listen to all the episodes in full, so maybe I'll start clipping some things and talking about stuff that I want to on here. That might be actually good. Anyway, long story short, True Geordie was having a blast this past weekend when Tyson Fury lost to Usyk, and I didn't understand why. Then I saw this clip. I didn't know. I didn't know. I completely forgot that True Geordie had a bit of a passer with with Tyson Fury. And the funny thing about this is that, if I remember correctly, wasn't True Geordie like a big Tyson Fury fanboy? Then he finally gets him on his podcast, and for whatever reason, Tyson Fury just doesn't. He wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, and he's just not having it with True Geordie. He's just not having it, and he starts cussing him out. And ever since this time, True Geordie's hated Tyson Fury. So that might explain why he was so happy when Usyk won. Let's play this clip of when they first met on True Georgie's podcast. This is the first time they met years ago.
And I wish you the best of luck, mate. See you next time. Cheers, mate.
I think you're a tosser, you little toss-pot.
Thanks.
And I won't be doing any more interviews with you little toss-pot bearded
No worries, mate.
bald-headed
Thanks very
tosser.
much.
Kiss my balls, you little wank. You little shithouse.
Have you worked out how to close this phone? Are you alright?
Suck
Hit the
a
button
dick.
at the bottom. And I wish you the best of luck, mate. See you next time.
What a weird interview, innit? For some reason, I don't know how. I'm sure something happened, but Tyson Fury wasn't happy. And obviously, when Tyson Fury fought Usyk the other day, True Geordie got his revenge. Look at how excited he was when he saw Tyson Fury on the ropes and nearly getting knocked down.
Trading up at the minute, man. This.
Tyson Fury is out on his feet. The fucking out. Tyson Fury is seriously going down. He's going down. He is out. Yes, I fucking nailed this bastard. Get in. Get in.
Trade.
Bro, he's so happy. You know what made me think about this? You know what made me think about this, bro? You know what made me think? You know what made me think this? You know what made me think about this? Sorry, my fucking throat's going crazy. You know what made me think about this? This made me think, maybe this explains why some people hate Brendan. If you were a fan of T-Fat K, legitimately, and then Brendan turns into the person that he is now, sometimes your fans are your greatest haters because they used to actually love you. Then you disappointed them, you let them down, and you can never win that back. Like, there's nothing like that. That's why people say don't meet your heroes, because sometimes meeting people that you look up to can break your heart to the point where you never look at them the same again. It happened to me a couple of times, and I've actually forgotten who the people are because I fucking deleted them from my brain. But it's actually dangerous. So this might explain partly why the whole Bappaverse, GRE verse is so vibrant, because a lot of these people are ex-fans who've got disappointed by their heroes, and now they make it their mission to hate watch everything they do and laugh at every fucking faux pas that they make. Maybe that's the reason why we are where we are. Maybe that's the reason why we are where we are. You never fucking know. Oh, no. Yeah, big up Don Dutta. No. Actually, the Julian Huxtable, no. Julian Huxtable, no. But definitely Law Croft. Julian Huxtable, no. Julian Huxtable, to be fair again, it was one interaction, and I also don't know how I looked when I mean, I can sometimes, in that interaction, I could see how I appeared like a fucking psycho, because I just appeared out of nowhere. And I was like, hi. You know what I mean? Like, that was a bit much. But that other DJ called Law Croft, yeah, deleted. I don't even give a fuck if she died tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you meet people, you're like, oh my God, I should have never met you. So yeah, that's one person. I can't think of somebody else who happened to me. I can't think of them. Because again, I'm not really, oddly enough, with real celebrities, I'm pretty flippant with and I don't care. But when it comes to like micro people who no one cares about, like scene people or like DJs, suddenly I start to like lick their asses. Like, well, it doesn't make any sense. They're not even fucking celebrities. Nobody fucking knows these people outside of this fucking club. But for some reason, I get fucking drawn into that nonsense as well. And it's odd as well because DJs, that's what I say with DJs and stand-ups have the same, on the same group for me, because DJs have a very odd perception of themselves despite being very, you know, unknown for the most part. You know, they kind of really think a lot of themselves despite nobody fucking knowing who they are. Their egos are fucking insane. So yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Big up True Geordie. Moving on, let's play this one. So, as you guys have heard, Adam22 from No Jumper has decided to scrap all the shows on No Jumper, with the exception of, as he says here on the screenshot, with the exception of No Jumper News and weekly, with the exception of the Tuesday show. That's the only show that's staying. So Adam22 has decided to scrap every single show underneath No Jumper umbrella except the Tuesday show. So this is a really big deal. because it means a lot of shows, a lot of personalities won't be on screen as much as we saw them in the past, and it definitely represents a change in direction for No Jumper, and is quite possibly a reflection of where they currently are, and the fact that he hasn't been able to regain or kind of, you know, get back the momentum that he had when all T-Rail, AD, all those guys were still at No Jumper. Or maybe this is the right decision going forward anyway, and they should have done this ages ago. Who fucking knows? Let's play the clip and see what see what Adam 22 has to say about the whole situation, because I'm fascinated to know how he's going to try to, you know, fix this and make this work.
Doing it on Snapchat. So anybody who's thinking about ripping this and putting it on any other platform, don't even think about it. Anyway, Snapchat exclusive. I'm making some very big changes in terms of No Jumper. As of today, or as of tomorrow, the news, No Jumper news, it's over.
I'm surprised by that, to be fair. I'm surprised Adam is cancelling No Jumper News, because I thought No Jumper News was probably their best show post AD, T-Rail, Duno, House Phone, Blasey, you know, exit. I thought that show was the one that was keeping the roof up and keeping them somewhat relevant, and it was quite entertaining to watch too, because it's a different cast of people. They're covering, you know, daily news topics in hip-hop and culture in general, and it's a bit of a fun show and easy show to keep on in the background. For me, it passes the can you listen to it in the background test without having to like change YouTube channel. I think it kind of works pretty well, so I'm surprised he's not keeping that. But then again, recently he started to have loads of people on the news, and sometimes I feel like the people on the news, I'm not too sure if he actually even booked them or if they just invite themselves or something. So there's just too many people on there. If he is booking them, then he's paying people a lot of money for videos that probably aren't generating enough money to cover everyone's salaries. So everyone's getting paid a lot to do the news every day, but the, you know, Jumper News videos, what, for the most part, they might reach above 60k views, which probably isn't enough to kind of justify keeping them all on board. So, you know, to some extent it's a sad decision, but I guess if you really get down to numbers, it probably makes sense.
The Monday show, the Wednesday show, and the Thursday show also are over. I've decided that I really want to focus No Jumper. So I will be continuing to do the Tuesday show with Lush and Brick Baby. Which ironically enough, the Tuesday show with Lush and Brick Baby is actually the best show on that platform. The dynamic and the chemistry they all have really works well. Lush is just as kind of lame as he is sometimes, as kind of pathetic as it was for him to run back to Adam 22, considering everything he said to him, considering how he was treated, considering how the exit played out. It's kind of pathetic, but let's be honest, Lush is a good employee. Lush is a good fit for No Jumper. He fits them very well, especially now that he's relapsed. He fits them even better now. He's obviously very prone to crashing out and saying crazy shit, especially alongside Comparada. But that show is actually pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. It's actually better than the Whack show and maybe even Sharp show, which was meant to be good and then kind of fell off. So I'm not surprised he's keeping that. Continue to do as many interviews as possible. I'm going to have other people on the platform continuing to do interviews. Everybody from, you know, Almighty, Sharp, Break. I just talked to all these guys, Flacco. We're still going to work together on doing interviews and, you know, doing like repeat guest type interviews where I, you know, have people on multiple times to talk about different things that are going on in the news, everything like that. But this decision has really been brought on primarily, I guess, as a business decision. And I say that to say,
you know what's funny about this business decision? He put all those people on, or signed them all on and brought them all on to sort of like prove to everybody that he wasn't down bad when all those guys left. And obviously that wasn't the case, because he was always complaining about the money and complaining that the shows weren't making enough when those guys are on, which is something you have to think about, right? Those guys, AD, T-Rail, all those dudes were very popular. They were the ones that kind of breathed new life back into No Jumper and kind of were the ones that were getting it popping again. But he was complaining that those shows weren't pulling in enough views, to the point where I think one of the reasons why him and AD kind of fell out was because Adam kind of felt like AD wasn't tapping into his Rolodex of like celebrity friends enough to get more celebs and more well-known people and rappers and shit on No Jumper to boost their views. and kind of get them back cracking again. And I guess AD probably didn't feel comfortable reaching out to his contacts, but then ultimately I think later down the line we found out that a lot of people just didn't fuck with No Jumper because of Adam mostly, and they just didn't want to be associated with, even if AD was there someone they did fuck with. So I think if he was not happy with those guys and their views and the money they were bringing in, there's no chance that these new guys were also doing poor compared to the other dudes were kind of keeping the lights on. It kind of makes you think all those times that, you know, Adam was flexing on the gram and showing the numbers and the views, that was all a cope, obviously, to kind of get back at those guys for leaving the way they did. But in behind the scenes, the business has probably been bleeding for a while. And again, it's more proof to me, similar to the whole Joe Rogan conversation that he always has whenever he goes to your mum's house and have a podcast. I just think in general, all these guys have overcomplicated things. They've all overcomplicated things. It's not that deep. You don't need to have 1 million people working under your network umbrella to make a platform work. Like, No Jumper should always be about the interviews anyway that Adam 22 kind of built the platform on, and it should also be about having maybe regular weekly shows, and that's about it. But only 2 or 3. You don't need to have like 7 or 8 with these random people that no one gives a fuck about, especially when the shows aren't that good quality anyway. Most of the shows, you know, with the exception again of the Tuesday show, the exception of the fucking No Jumper News, were fucking garbage. A lot of the hosts weren't really putting in the amount of effort needed to make the shows fun. One example being SCHAUB. SCHAUB recently has really fallen off. I'm not too sure if it's a drama with that girl that kind of caused some things, but SCHAUB fall off has been insane to watch. He went from being a big draw at No Jumper to now being somebody that a lot of people kind of mock and take the piss out of. And I also feel like whenever I tune into No Jumper, he's kind of just calling. He's kind of just sitting back, chilling, and almost like clocking in, clocking out. He's not really caring as much. So I think Adam probably noticed that. He noticed a lot of people were getting a free ride and the money wasn't coming in to make it sustainable. And he decided to, you know what, let's just pull the plug overall.
I've been talking to my business manager a lot over the course of the past few weeks, taking a real deep dive into how the channel is doing, how much content we're creating, and taking a look at like what the true cost of creating stuff like the news is. And have basically just come to the conclusion that it makes more sense for No Jumper to produce less content and be a little bit more focused with a,
or just pay people less. They can still do No Jumper News, but just have a not a rotating cast, but just have 2 or 3 people, or 2 people at most. It doesn't need to be like 7 or 8 people sitting on the chairs, especially with Josh being like the third mic behind the camera shit. You don't need to have 7 or 8 people there. It's just too much. At one point they had the 2 couches, and there's 2 people sitting there on the, before that back table was reserved for 1 person or like drop-ins. Then it became like a permanent table with like 3 people, just too many people, you know, claiming, you know, filing invoices and wanting to get paid and make a name for themselves, and just making the show unfocused and a bit of a mess. They can still go back to doing it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Adam 22 is doing this to clear the decks. I'm going to cancel all the shows except the Tuesday show, but then little by little he's going to reintroduce everything he kind of got rid of in like a more, you know, dialed down way with less people on it, so he doesn't have to feed so many mouths.
smaller team, a smaller number of employees, etc., and to just, you know, be a little bit more focused. You know, I look at a lot of my peers. I look at Vlad. Obviously, Vlad has kind of always been like the OG as far as I'm concerned in terms of this whole YouTube content space. And when I look at Vlad, I think that he kind of does it the smartest way possible.
Hey, yo, bronze arm view. What are you talking about, bro? The streams look fine on my end. It's not buffering at all. I've got it loaded up on my phone, everything. What do you mean your stream's still so slow playing videos? What are you talking about? I've got the stream up on my phone. It looks perfectly fine. What do you mean the video is slow?
The true cost of making No Jumper News, bro. You act as if it's production value out the ass. It's just morons sitting in the same damn set. Fuck out of here.
Exactly. Okay. NJ Ranger, I get the feeling you're not a big fan of Adam 22. That comment had a bit of spice in it, my friend. That comment had a bit of spice in it, eh? I get the feeling you're not a fan of Adam 22, my friend. Exactly. Big up Z. You need someone to help film, edit, another to make social media content, and guests if needed. Honestly, 3 or 4 people is enough. I wonder what do you guys think happened? Like, what was the cause that started this whole trend of people that have very successful YouTube channels where they could just keep churning out content and raking in the fucking millions for themselves and a small group of people to then start to expand and make it into like a network thing? I never understood it, especially when the guests or the hosts weren't that compelling. Like, most people don't really, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand, like, especially when Joe Rogan's model has been proven to work over the years. The Joe Rogan model of having the same person on the show all the time with just one guy helping him out and shit, and maybe one behind the scenes, small team, kind of concentrates all the money to really a small group of people, and you just keep churning out really good quality content. Fast turnaround also. It went from that to just suddenly now everybody want to pretend like they're MTV. Pretend like they've got a fucking big production company. It's like, what?
Which is like, if he wants to have a conversation with somebody, he just calls them in, pays them their rate, and then they do the conversation. He doesn't really have like consistent co-hosts. Obviously, I'm still gonna have consistent co-hosts. I'm still gonna do the Tuesday show with Brick and Lush because I still enjoy, you know, building that camaraderie and everything like that. But as far as like just trying to pump out so much content and doing 2 hours of the news every day and 2 hours every night, you know, even like someone like Brick, I just had the conversation with Brick about the No Statement show on Wednesday, and like, he totally gets it. And if anything, he was kind of like, bro, I didn't really feel like I was ready to do my own podcast in the first place. I just took it on because you suggested it, you believed in me. And, you know, like, honestly, all these guys, from Almighty to Flacco to Sharp to Brick, I've seen all these guys grow a shitload as the years have gone by doing content on the channel.
They've grown a shitload, but they're not good enough to hold down their own shows, are they? That's the funny thing. They've all grown a shitload, but they're not good enough to make it make sense to hold down their own shows. That's a funny thing. And it goes to show that those guys that he left before who he mistreated, the ADs, the T-Rails and shit, I know he's not all his fault, but he did take those guys for granted, because one thing that those guys was that they were able to hold down the show. They made shows entertaining, they made shows fun, people were really kind of invested in them, so much so that they're now following them on their own platforms. So it shows it's not that easy to replace people. I think him and Joe Budden's another one too. Joe Budden, if he fucks up these guys he has now, he's going to realize how hard it is to actually fill in those seats with people that people care about. Because he kind of got lucky with this new group of people after New Rory and Moore, or Rory and Moore kind of got fired. He's got lucky with this current group because 2 of them contain friends of his who have been friends for a long time, who are also very comfortable in front of a camera, which is Ice and Ish, and obviously Melissa Ford got added and whatever else. But if Joe fucks up these current people he has now, he'll also run into the same issue that Adam 22 did. It's not that easy to find good people to hold down those shows, especially if you're doing so many so often.
And like, you know, somebody like Almighty, I was just gassing him up. I'll say it here too because I believe it was just that I've seen him grow a lot as an interviewer. Okay, I got cut off there. Anyway, I was just saying all about Almighty is that, you know, he's somebody who I've seen grow a shitload as a interviewer and content creator, and he has like an amazing ear / just like A&R mindset for new talent. You know, he's paying attention on a level that I really look up to. And I need people around me like him and Remo, et cetera, to like really help keep me tapped in with exactly what's going on in the culture and everything like that. So this has nothing to do with me being, you know, against any of the hosts on the channel. If anything,
it's interesting he said that. I've long thought, and I think Z actually echoed some of the thoughts in the comments. I've long thought recently as well, No Jumper's kind of outgrown Adam in a good way. If he was smart, he'd actually take a step back and allow the people that he hires to be more of the face of the company. No one really tunes in for Adam 22 interviews anymore. That reputation of him being a good hip-hop interviewer is kind of gone. All the new kids are not going on his platform. They're going on Montreality. They're going on Our Generation Next. They're going on, what's that other one? NFR and shit. There's all these other platforms that they're going on, but they're not really running to No Jumper for that interview anymore. That's not the thing, yeah? So if that is the case, you might as well get those other dudes to kind of front your shows, and then you just play the background role. He doesn't need to be front and center anymore. I don't think so. It's not very necessary, but I think, you know, unfortunately, he does have He's a bit of a narcissist and does have a need to be seen and be heard. So that's probably why he's still on under No Jumper. But he doesn't, the channel doesn't really need him. That's the funny thing.
I just had the conversation with all of them, and they all took it in stride and understood where I was coming from and realized that, it's just straight business decisions. So this is a big development. I look at like a lot of people, my peers in the space, and I look at myself and I'm like, damn, I spent the last however many years trying to really build No Jumper up as like a network where we could be producing a huge amount of content. And then just over the last couple of weeks from just having these conversations, I just realized this isn't really what I want to spend the next 10 years of my life doing in terms of.
And let's be fair too, the content isn't that interesting. It's just a bunch of niggas sitting in front of microphones talking about the same topics. The shows aren't different. They kind of overlap with topics. They overlap with type of guest. They're not really structured. There's a ton of bad podcasting. I wonder if Adam got fed up watching the CEO podcast with DW Flame. I like DW. He seems like a cool dude, but he was taking the piss with that show. Him and P Nice. One episode I remember checking out, they were ordering food. Like they ordered legitimately DoorDash. The guy actually came and handed it to them while they were sitting down, and they were literally eating midway through the, like, bro, like having a fucking munch. And these are niggas. So they were quiet while they were eating. Like, it just, there's like loads of quiet parts, loads of dead air. Thinking, yo, these guys are claiming a salary or invoicing, and they're spending most of their time just eating on camera. Nah. And smoking and drinking, like, nah. I think Adam saw that and was like, okay, these guys are taking the piss. They're taking the piss out of me. They're starting to like, and even DW Flame, I like him, but he's been sending a lot of like indirects towards Adam anyway. Ever since they had that falling out, he's been trying to big timing a bit. So he thought, you know what, these guys are trying to assert control and dominance. I need to remind them who's fucking boss and whose company this is. All right, all your shows get fucking cancelled. You know what I mean? Changing the locks, changing the emails, like fuck all this shit. Because they were getting too comfortable. And again, I'm not really the fan of Adam 22 as a podcaster or a person, but his phrase, bad podcasting, is true. That shit was happening everywhere. Everywhere that he wasn't. Wherever any show that he wasn't present, the guys were taking the piss. Any show that he wasn't on, they were definitely taking the piss. Like they were acting like, when your boss is away, they're on holiday. Like that's how they were acting. Like the boss is on holiday, supply teachers in, you know what I mean? Like they were really acting like that. So I'm not surprised that he decided to clear the fucking deck.
Trying to create another At the End of the Day or another Disconnected, if that counts, or whatever. It's like all that shit is dope, and it definitely has helped, get us more views / make the fans interested. But the truth is that the soap opera that comes with doing No Jumper News and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't benefit us that.
Yo, you fucking cunt. You're the one that was pushing it. This is why people don't like this guy. He's now complaining about the soap opera and the reality TV Real House Husbands of fucking downtown LA vibe that they were fucking spewing out. And he was the one that was encouraging it with the titles of the clips, the fucking thumbnails, the lineups on the shows to cause controversy and get them to fucking butt heads and fight and shit and argue. Because think about it. When's the last time anybody shared a clip of somebody from No Jumper where they had like a really interesting interview, somebody gave a really interesting answer to a question, somebody shared a really interesting hot take about a certain topic in the news? Doesn't happen. Most of the clips that were shared on No Jumper were like messy shit that involved like messy stuff or beef. It was never like, oh, the host having, the host on No Jumper are having some really interesting conversations about very difficult to broach topics, right? Or they're, really kind of throwing out like, different points of view about certain things that people have never really thought about. Like, nah, no real hot takes. It's all just beef. And he was the beef manipulator in fucking charge. And now he's saying, oh, that stuff doesn't benefit us. Oh, now you know, huh?
Much. It certainly is like something to talk about for a lot of people, but like getting a bunch of clips up in the Reddit and shit doesn't really like do that much for us as a business. And really, when I look at
the guy that was mentioning the Reddit every single episode, the guy that was usually using the Reddit as a content generating machine, the guy that was using the Reddit as a fucking bickering and beef and instigating and machine, like a starting point to kind of get people hot and bothered and shit. A guy that was accused earlier on of manipulating the Reddit to kind of paint him in his favor until, like, you know, the admin controls got taken away from people that are over there on No Jumper. Now saying that posting clips on Reddit doesn't benefit us. This guy's full of fucking shit.
In my life as a 40-year-old man, it's like I want to primarily be putting my time into things that are going to, you know, be more productive. Even like this right here, talking on Snapchat. Like, I hate to break it to you, but sometimes when I look at how much I made on Snapchat for the day, I'm like, why is YouTube my focal point? Why am I looking at my YouTube analytics multiple times a day?
Oh yeah, so I heard that's a thing now. I heard now, I don't know why, I guess YouTube maybe, so I guess Snapchat might have had a new round of investment, but a lot of content creators are posting their shit on Snapchat because the splits are great over there. But I just think they just did that thing that most companies do. They raise a round of investment. They want to get a bunch of people on there, drive traffic. So they're probably paying people more than they probably should to secure them on the platform and to make sure that they have, you know, native or very bespoke only Snapchat content created on there. Then hope those inflated numbers will then allow them to get more investment down the line. That's what I think is happening. But a lot of people I've seen, a lot of like YouTubers especially, are doing a lot of their like BTS vloggy type of content on Snapchat, and it's not ever exported onto YouTube. It's only living on there, so you have to kind of, you know, make it a bit of a destination thing and kind of drive the traffic there. But, you know, Snapchat are kind of paying people very, very, very well.
When I got this Snapchat shit going absolutely fucking crazy, I don't know, there's a lot of things I want to do in my life, and it's like, if I am just putting out a handful of podcasts per week and then doing the No Jumper show once per week, having some of these other guys do interviews on my behalf, like, that's good enough for me. I don't need to be producing 5 hours of content per week in order to.
And again, he was only doing this to prove that he wasn't down bad. That's the issue that I have with this guy. It wasn't that he was doing those shows because he wanted to. He was doing those shows to prove to everybody else that he wasn't that down bad when AD and Tiro and all those guys left, and he could recreate whatever they had with these new coasts of people. And it proved incorrect. Obviously, it proved incorrect because he was complaining about money with those guys, and these guys are getting less views than those guys. So how, of course it wasn't making sense. And also, I'm assuming he's getting tired of fearing for his life when he goes outside.
View No Jumper as a success. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are going to probably try to frame this as me giving up, or me being, you know, totally fed up with some of the hoes or some bullshit like that. That's not really the case. It's just a case of me wanting to sort of reprioritize and take a step back from producing like a huge amount of.
Hey, yo, big up Real Santos David. You will never be as big as him. You're a fucking hater. Yeah, man. Welcome to the hater fucking live stream. You know what I mean? Click the like down below if you're enjoying the hater live stream. We're only commentating on fucking Adam22 because we hate him and we want to be as big as him. Of course. Join us, brother. Join us. Thank you for coming along. Join us. Embrace the hate. Sip on the hate. Bathe yourself in the hate. Lie down on the hate. Eat the fucking hate. Make the hate a part of you. It is what it is.
Content. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys get it. Hopefully people won't go too crazy with spinning like weird narratives and implying that I said things in the. Okay, keep getting cut off. There's like no way in Snapchat to tell when you're gonna get cut off unless you want to like have a pocket watch or some shit.
Oh, but I thought Snapchat was so great. I thought they're paying so amazing, but the app functionality is a bit shit. Okay, cool, great.
Anyway. Yeah, I just, you know, I know people are going to run with all kinds of narratives and be like, Adam fired the whole staff. Adam, like, is ending all of No Jumper content, whatever. That's not the case at all.
Why are you worried about the narrative? It's a good narrative. Even if you are firing all the staff, it's actually a good thing. I don't think anybody, even the guys that don't like Adam22 are going to say, it's a good thing that he's cancelling all the shows that aren't working and focusing on one that are, and then just figuring out what to kind of reintroduce back. Because I have a feeling he's trying to, like, figure out what works and what doesn't. So with a bit more of a clearer schedule, with a bit more focus on just the small shows, the only shows he has available to him, which will be 2, then maybe you can kind of build up from there, but you don't need to have so much shit on the wall. Let's just work with what we have and kind of go from there. But it's not a bad thing that the shows are cancelled. Even if you go on Reddit, the Reddit is full of haters, right? Real Santos David will know that No Jumper Reddit, I'm on there all the time, it's full of fucking haters. They fucking hate No Jumper. And even those guys are saying this is actually a good decision. Quality over quantity, This is going to be a great thing for the go forward.
BTW, it's hilarious to hear how MFs like him and Schultz talk without any brothers/sisters around. You'd be forgiven for wondering which are the real voices.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't even clock that. Adam does code switch, doesn't he? Adam does have a tendency to code switch. He does sound no. Oh, by the way, no. NJ, you reminded me. Have you realized how different Adam 22 sounds when he's like on a white podcast vis-a-vis like a black one? Have you heard that difference? Like when he goes on like a, I don't know, let's say like a fucking, I don't know, like one of those, I don't know, I can't think of it, like a Bradley Martin or something. Have you heard how different he sounds when he's on those as opposed to when he's like around the homies, the hammies? Exactly. But anyway, big up Angel Ranger. What I was thinking about this is that this is actually a good thing. So the fact that Adam is concerned about how people view it is weird, because it doesn't matter how we view it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's actually a good thing. I swear to God.
This is just me kind of like doing what's right for myself in terms of my own peace of mind, as well as my own, ideas of what I want to be doing.
Yo, big up Wolfgang Rittner. Big up Wolfgang Rittner. I can see a reflection in your cool shades. You're watching lesbian porn. You're fucking hilarious. I gotta be honest. I'm not sure about you guys, if you guys agree with me in the stream chat. I've never really been into lesbian porn. I'm not sure about you guys, but you know how guys get off on like the idea of like two girls making out and shit? Doesn't do anything for me at all. You know how some guys get really excited about, does absolutely nothing for me. Like, I just see them as like two gay people. Like, okay, let them have their fun, but what is that? Why does I have to make my dick hard? Strange. But anyway, maybe it's just me.
With the rest of my life, and I look at somebody who's my peer.
Joel from MIA asked the fucking perfect question. Joel from MIA asks the perfect question. What perfect timing? You prefer gay porn? Touche.
Like a Sean Cotton. We don't need to make it about Vlad every time, but I look at Sean Cotton and Say Cheese. Say Cheese, very popular channel, popular business. If you ask anybody who knows about what's going on in rap, they'll tell you like Say Cheese is up there near the top of the pile in terms of just creating content that shifts the culture and everything. But I look at his channel and I'm like, this motherfucker Sean putting out like one podcast a week, maybe two. Like sometimes he'll put out podcasts like every 2 weeks, whatever, which is, that's dope. Like, you don't need to put out like a gigantic amount of content in order to be successful, right? So I think for me,
I'm in it for the storyline, guys. I'm always in it for the storyline. I'm a storyline. I'm a cinematography type of guy. I'm a lighting type of guy, writing type of guy. I read the end credits. I'm in the comments. That's me.
From a business perspective, it just makes sense to make a little bit less content and focus on other areas of the business that are a little bit more profitable, that might have longer legs and everything like that. To me, the business model of just taking a bunch of homies and putting them on camera together and just assuming that the fans are going to want to watch, I don't know. It might have made a little bit more sense like mid-pandemic. It might have made a little bit more sense 5 years ago, but it doesn't make that much sense.
Exactly.
Now. I think you see that with all sides of the media landscape.
He's 100% right. He's 100% right, especially if the shows aren't focused. That's why I think you have to give Joe Budden credit. As much as I hate this new version of Joe Budden, it's great because they talk about things. They have topics. They have pre-production meetings. They don't talk over each other, right? It's a really nice set. The audio is always fucking impeccable, big up Parks, even though he's a fucking piece of shit. Like, they clearly put effort into their show, and it kind of shows with how it's produced and how it's put out and what they talk about and the clips and how it's whatever. But I think these guys, this lazy, just turn on all the mics and have the hammies, as Duno would say, sitting on the couches talking shit, doesn't work, especially when there's no structure or anything. Even Figmunity World, I'm sure some of you guys I don't watch it as much anymore. Even fucking Back on Fig, I don't watch as much anymore because they don't really have any topics. You know what I mean? I'd probably prefer to watch like Ace Boys and shit, because at least they're going through topics and they've got a kind of a funnier cast of characters, and the girls coming and there's a yam cam and shit. It's like a little bit of a show in itself. Right? So kind of like a ratchet late night show. But I think the standard, just turn on the mic to have people talk shit in front of a microphone, that time is completely gone. Or you have to kind of actually put some effort into making that content good and making it high quality to some respects.
Where, like, Complex did Everyday Struggle, didn't really work out in the long run. They ran into a whole bunch of problems that we don't need to get into, but the host's asking for more money, the advertisers are hard to get, et cetera, et cetera. They switched from Joe Budden to a different co-host, didn't really work out the same way. These are all problems that I basically have dealt with too, where it's a hard business to run, and even if it was really cracking, it still would not be that profitable. It still would be a little bit tough to justify, even though obviously, like, at a certain level it's good for the overall brand. But
it's mad he's saying all this shit when he's the one that did all this shit. It's almost like who's he trying to convince? You're the one that made your fucking bed. You got to lie in it now a little bit, brother. It's so hilarious.
But yeah, I know some people will have a hard time comprehending what I'm talking about and everything. It'll definitely be a letdown for some of the people who really thrive on documenting the messiness on the No Jumper platform. But I think overall this makes sense for me as a businessman, and I feel kind of light and free as a result of making this decision. So
yeah, because you get to keep most of the money now. Of course you feel light and free, because you're not having to fucking pay the invoices of 17 nondescript fucking goons who say about 17 words during a 2-hour podcast and refuse to talk about gang politics because it's messy, refuse to get messy because of gang politics, and just usually are too cool for fucking school. You don't need those type of character. You need mess, you need more fun, but then mess brings trouble. I get it. Yo, big up Austin Casey.
Holy hell. STF you about it already, Adam. Me thinketh he does protest too much.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I didn't know there were so many people that watch my stream that don't like Adam 22. I don't have that much of a reaction against him, for better or worse. I think he's a bit of a bozo. If anything, I'm probably in the camp of people that thinks he probably needs to get punched in the face, but I don't really have whatever in it. I just think it's funny to kind of watch him from afar. But a lot of people in the stream definitely don't like the guy. It's funny to see this, I'm not going to lie. Big up Austin Casey. You join the company of NJ Ranger and a few others who fucking hate him. I love it.
Same bro. I prefer MFM threesome corn.
I didn't say that. And I don't know what MFM means, by the way. Okay? Abe? I don't know what MFM means, and I don't want you to clarify it either in the comments. I don't know what that means, and I don't want you to clarify it, okay? This is a pure and innocent stream. Don't bring that shit here. I don't know what that means, and I don't want you to clarify it. Okay.
You're still going to see me having relationships with all the different hosts on camera to one level or another, but definitely some big changes coming down. No more No Jumper News, if you somehow missed that. Monday show, Wednesday show, Thursday show, all moved, or all shut down. Tuesday show. Anyway, I keep getting cut off, but you guys get the idea.
That's a really funny filter, isn't it? That's a really funny filter.
Yeah. No Jumper News over. No Jumper as a channel still going strong. You will certainly notice probably like a decrease in overall views, because that's another part of it, is that I've just kind of decided that I don't want to like spend my whole fucking life chasing after views. You know, it's like
the guy that built his whole platform and his whole sense of worth he's the one that started that whole fucking war. Because if you go to No Jumper Reddit, part of the thing that makes it sometimes lame is sometimes the fans get into this thing of like posting screenshots of videos and comparing the views. Oh, look at Reconnected when they first left No Jumper. Now look at them. All this kind of like view beef, which I think is bad, because most of the shows are suffering, I think, with the exception of maybe MacWop and maybe could be Ace Boys and shit. I think most of those shows are suffering because they focus too much on the views. They're not trying to make fun shows anymore. They're not trying to be funny, entertaining. They're just focusing on the numbers. And that is actually hurting them in the long run. So he started this whole horrible trend, the same way that Academic started the horrible trend of people caring too much about first week numbers and not fucking critiquing music properly. And now he's like, oh, I don't care about the views. It's like, bruh.
I'm doing well for myself. I got a nice life for myself. I'm proud of the content that I've been creating and that other people have been creating on my channel. But as far as just like always trying to recapture the view counts that we were getting during the pandemic and shit, that's not really what I need to be doing with my life. I got a couple of dope businesses. I got a lot of good stuff. There's other things I want to put time into. For me, a great week on No Jumper is like, we do the Tuesday show. I drop maybe like 5-6 interviews that I've done. Drop probably like a handful of interviews that the other hosts have done. And we're good. I think that makes sense for me at this point in my life. So appreciate everybody who watched this. Appreciate all the No Jumper fans. Rogue Game forever. I love you guys. Content will be getting a little bit more focused.
Okay, man. There you got it. You heard it from the man himself. Like I said before, I think it's a good decision in the long term. I think No Jumper was too bloated. There was too many random people that don't need to be on there on the platform. Most of it is Adam 22's fault, because I think he was trying to prove to people that he wasn't hurting or down bad when all those other guys left. AD, T-Rail, Duno, not Pun, but he wasn't part of it, but Blasey, House on all those dudes. He was trying to make sure that he could kind of look like he was okay, especially after he had that little depressive period where he went away for his honeymoon and kind of went ghost. He came back on some demon time shit and thought, no, I'm big 22, I'm big 16, I'm going to prove to everybody that I'm not hurting. Here's a bunch of shows for all these fucking shitty hosts that didn't really go anywhere. But along the way, he threw enough shit on the wall that he did find some things. He found out that Almighty Suspect is a decent enough host. Although he's hated on the Reddit, I don't mind him. He found SCHAUB, who I think is also a decent host. And if anything, SCHAUB deserves a lot of credit, because I think he held down that platform or that channel during that whole beef. Kind of stayed loyal, kind of kept people coming on the streams, reined up the numbers. Now he's obviously fallen off, but I think he found out that SCHAUB is good. He kind of found, I guess he kind of, honed and worked with Flacco, and now Flacco's become a little bit of a mainstay there. There was a period of time where everyone was trying to run Flacco off of No Jumper. Now he seems to be an integral part of the platform, especially in their messy, drama-ish kind of period. He seems to be somebody that's willing to kind of stir the pot and get things going and play that kind of content over everything kind of lane. So that kind of works out. I think, who else has been kind of good there? The reintroduction of Lush coming back to No Jumper has been good, although kind of pathetic, and although a big 40-plus-year-old loser. I think as an employee he's obviously a good fit for No Jumper. Comparade has been a crazy addition, but also beneficial, and that's basically it. And obviously the No Jumper news as a thing I think also works. So there's been some things that have come out of it that have been a good thing overall, but I think the idea of giving everyone a show and almost having it like a weekly programming thing was always dumb, in my personal opinion. I never understood why they had so many nonsense shows. They should just focus in on a couple and kind of go from there. It should be really, if you think about it, No Jumper should be really focused around music and news, or interviews and music kind of thing, right? And in a weekly thing, you should probably have a weekly show where you review people's mixes and songs and shit and videos. People love all that shit, right? Sending in their clips and shit under the proviso that they might get signed or get fucking seen somewhere. That's quite a good thing. So keeping that show is done, and maybe having some sort of like news show, that's also be a good idea, but not with a big cast. Maybe just 2 people or 3 people max, and that's basically it. And of course, keeping one kind of podcast show thing for the week where they can kind of review all the big topics and kind of have a check-in with each other, blah blah blah. That's it. You don't need anything more than that. And I can't understand why he tried to do more than that, when obviously I think his main weakness is his leadership qualities. He's not a real good leader anyway. He's not a really good manager anyway. I don't think so either. He might be a good visionary, he might have ideas, he might be able to put them in action, but I think the day-to-day managing of that platform is not a good. He can't do it, and clearly these people don't think they want to hire him, because that's something as well I never understood. If you're going to run a network, why not hire somebody to manage the network? Not somebody you already work with, but an external person to come in and manage the running of the network, like a network manager or something, or a producer even. I'm surprised no one has done that.
So guys, to recap, I'm definitely doing well. No Jumper is not hurting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing this because I'm rich. I promise. It's totally
Exactly.
not to save money.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Big up Austin Casey. That was my final point to end it with. Like, in the end, as Austin Casey said, my final point before Austin Casey came in with a fucking hammer, my final point was, in the end, this is only happening because No Jumper's bleeding money. They got that brand new spanking head office, right? That HQ, that No Jumper HQ, was it? No Jumper. Let's see if I can get, if there's a picture of it. Because that HQ was fucking lovely. No Jumper head office. Remember they moved into this really amazing, luscious fucking warehouse space. $5 million warehouse space, right? So look at this place. Like, I'm not going to play the video, but look at that fucking space. That is huge, right? It looks very shiny. It looks like a startup production type of platform. And he probably bought that place under the proviso he's going to have all those shows still there. ADT and all those guys. Then they left soon after. So you have to pay the lease of this fucking studio. That's a lot of fucking money. Plus everybody's fucking hosting fee. Look, I bet you his monthly outgoings were crazy. So something had to give, which is why we have, you know, those shows fucking cancelled. Basically, that's basically it. If you think about it, you know, when you kind of whittle it down, that's why that show got cancelled. So anyway, let's see how it kind of transpires. Let's see how everything transpires. But so far, that's the news courtesy of Mr. Adam 22. Hey, have you guys been wondering? Have you guys been wondering where Keto George is? Has some of you guys been wondering, where the fuck is Keto George? Well, I'll let you guys know. Here he is.
I think it's gonna be a very good fight for me.
But then you say Leon, but then he's
Brother,
got
who this guy? He don't have question. He just listen us.
Yeah, he just produces this. He listens to us.
Okay.
He makes fun. He makes fun of me when I mess up.
He'll make funny faces though.
Yeah, he goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, why is that fucking guy talking like that? What is with people who talk? Why do people who talk to some people who English isn't their first language, why do they put on that accent? He's almost trying to speak. Is he trying to speak? Like what? What the fuck is this accent?
I think it's gonna be a very good fight for me.
But then you say Leon,
but then you say Leon. What?
But then you say Leon, but then he's
Brother,
got.
But then he got. What the fuck is that? That's not a language. That's just him trying to match the voice inflections to make Islam almost understand what he's saying. But it's like, Islam can understand English. He might not be able to talk. He might not be able to speak English, you know, as well as we do, but he can understand it. So why are you speaking it to him in his accent? What?
This guy, he don't have question. He does.
Look at Keto George.
He just listen us.
Yeah, he just produces this. He listens to us.
Yeah, he just produces this. He listened to us. What?
He listens to us.
Okay.
He almost sounds South African, doesn't he? Doesn't Josh Thompson almost sound like Drakus Du Plessis? Think about it. Close your eyes. Doesn't Josh Thompson almost sound like Drakus Du Plessis?
He just produces this. He listens to us. He just produces this.
He just produces to us. He listens to us. Huh?
Just produces this. He listens to us.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. He sounds a little bit. Drakus Du Plessis. Yo.
He makes fun. He makes fun of me when I mess up.
He make fun. Why the woman when I mess up? Like, that accent is so bizarre. But big up Keto George. Not looking keto anymore, innit? Unfortunately, son. I know your pain, bro. I know it's hard. It's hard to keep your hands off the fucking packets of fucking mixed croissants and shit. It's hard to not go for the double choc chip cookies that come in 5 from Sainsbury's. If you know, you know. Big up the man them who know about the double choc chip cookies that come in a fucking paper bag that usually like £2.50. Ooh, them things are bussin'. Right? It's hard to keep your hands off of those shits, you know what I mean? I feel it, Keto George. It's hard out here for a nigga. It's hard out here, Keto George. It's fucking hard, bro. Keto George no more. Keto George, more like no Keto George. Ha, get it? No, cool. Anyway, moving on. Big up my nigga BC. Big up my nigga BC for Morning Combat. Always keeping Luke Thomas on his fucking toes. I fucking love it. Big up the person on Friday Kiss subreddit also posted this. Careful, BC. That tiny man has violent DNA. Listen to this clip. Watch this clip, please. I beg of you. Watch and listen to this fucking banger of a clip featuring the true CEO of PF Chang's, BC.
Here's Joe Rogan on his podcast.
With suits. Yeah, I got a bunch of custom-made suits. Because I can't wear regular suits. I don't fit in them, you know. There's not a lot of 200-pound, 5'8" dudes.
I didn't react to this clip before because it was so preposterous. But I love the fact that Rogan has this, like, short man complex or whatever. Yeah, he has a complex about his height in general. It's definitely an insecurity. Because how can you just bold-faced lie and say he's 5'8"? Bruh. We've seen you in the octagon with fighters who are listed as 5'8", who have no shoes on, and while you have shoes on, and we've seen these people tower over you. You're not 5'8", bruh. Come on. 200 pounds I could kind of get because, you know, muscle weighs a lot. Muscle probably weighs more than fat, I'd probably say, overall. He's quite a big, burly dude, and he does a bunch of roids, so I can definitely see him weighing a bunch. But 5'8", come on, Rogan.
I mean, there's a lot of 200-pound 5'8" dudes.
Yeah, Joe's not one of them, though, Luke, right? Yeah, that's what he self-identifies.
So I've seen Joe in person. Is he 200 pounds?
That's not the stat in question, Luke. The weight is not in question here.
Oh, you're the 5'8" part?
You just took that like as face value. Like when I got a girlfriend in the other county.
Is he 5'8"? I don't think he's 5'8".
I mean, Tyson Fury's not 6'9".
No,
but I'll tell you, Joe Rogan ain't 5'8". Dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's probably not 5'8".
Oh, wait, we got proof here. You know who's listed at 5'5"? Rose Namajunas.
Wow. I didn't even know that. So Rogan is like 5'3", 5'4", max. Because he always wears those Hoka shoes, right? Running shoes. Nowadays, he's discovered those, so he's always wearing those. Rose Namajunas, but again, I'm not sure if she's barefooted here, but she's listed as 5'5". So Rogan is definitely 5'3", 5'4", max. Damn, son.
Yeah, he's probably closer to 5'7", I think, something like that.
Luke, he's closer to 5'4" if you look at this closely.
No,
okay,
my wife is 5'4". He's taller than my wife.
You're always defending this guy.
No, I like the joke, but he's not 5'4". That's not
all right.
true.
Do you like when comedians call him Joseph all the time?
I think the worst thing that's ever happened to most comedians is that they have podcasts.
Oh, they were going to say Reddit. I thought you were going to say that was the worst thing that happened to a comedian.
How is he so fast? How is BC so fast? How is BC so fucking fast? How is he so quick on his fucking feet? I thought you were going to say Reddit was the worst thing to happen to comedians. Oh my God, bro. He's fucking incredible. I love Brian Campbell so fucking much, man. And I love the fact that Luke is now stopping resisting laughing. He obviously is very aware that he wants to, you know, keep his accreditation and his access to UFC fights, and he doesn't want to piss people off too much. But he's now laughed, because before he used to annoy me. He'd try and he'd try and stop himself from laughing and act all mature. It's like, fuck all that shit, bro. Laugh. This is fucking funny. These guys are preposterous. Laugh at all this nonsense. But the fact that Rogan has to lie about his height and his weight is hilarious. And also the fact that he thinks he's some, like, outlier. Imagine thinking you're an outlier when you're 5'4". Like, why does that matter to you? Like, really? But it clearly goes to show that he's insecure about his height. But I think in general, Rogan's insecure about his height makes sense, because imagine the amount of times Rogan's heard this in real life. Oh my God, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were. Because I always hear the opposite. If ever, and mostly it's when I would go clubbing and shit. If I would go clubbing and I'll bump into somebody who's maybe watched my channel, but oh shit, you're a lot taller than I thought you were. But imagine if you're Rogan and you hear the opposite, and you see it in their eyes before they say it. You see it in their eyes. They're like, oh shit. I recognize the head, I recognize the upper body, but the overall is just so small. They look at his little legs. You know what I mean, I wonder, he must get that. It must get on his nerves when people say it to him. Oh shit, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were. So it drives him crazy. Let's play his clip one more time. Let's play his clip one more time.
Here's Joe Rogan on his podcast.
With suits. Yeah, I got a bunch of custom-made suits.
All right.
Because I can't wear regular suits. I don't fit in them, you know? There's not a lot of 200-pound, 5'8" dudes.
I mean, there's a lot of 200-pound 5'8" dudes.
Yeah, Joe's not one of them, though, Luke, right? Yeah, that's what he self-identifies.
So I've seen Joe in person. Is he 200 pounds?
That's not the stat in question, Luke. The weight is not in question here.
Oh, you're the 5'8" part?
You just took that like as face value. Like when I got a girlfriend in the other county.
Is he 5'8"? I don't think he's 5'8".
I mean, Tyson Fury's not 6'9".
No,
but I'll tell you, Joe Rogan ain't 5'8". Dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's probably not 5'8".
Oh, wait, we got proof here. You know who's listed at 5'5"? Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, he's probably closer to 5'7". I think something like that.
Luke, he's closer to 5'4" if you look at this closely.
No,
okay,
my wife is 5'4". He's taller than my wife.
You're always defending this guy.
No, I like the joke, but he's not 5'4". That's not
all right.
true.
Do you like when comedians call him Joseph all the time?
I think the worst thing that's ever happened to most most comedians is that they have podcasts.
Oh, they were gonna say Reddit. You said that was the worst thing that happened to comedians.
Oh, fucking love BC. Yo, big up my girl Josie. Big up my girl Josie. Appreciate you. I've seen you on the girls podcast. Can't remember the name of it. I was surprised how tall you are. Yeah, big up my girl and my fucking wife to be, Kat Baker, wherever she is. Big up Kat fucking Baker. Make sure you check out her channel. She's got a bunch of new interviews recently dropped. Big up my main bitch, Kat fucking Baker. Yeah, so can you imagine the amount of times Rogan's heard someone say, because people are weird when they meet you in real life, innit? And sometimes because he's so famous, people are probably nervous and they just blur it out without realizing. It's a bit of a backhanded compliment. Oh my God, you're a lot smaller than I thought you were. Oh shit, you're really short. Or they rub his head or something. Can you imagine? Like, it must get him so angry. So I understand. I kind of get why he lies. I kind of get it. But big up Wolfgang Rittner with the point that I was about to make. Big up my guy Wolfgang Rittner. But who cares? 100 million plus in the bank is good. I'm over 6'1" and I don't even care how tall people are. If someone can towards me 5'9", I wouldn't even think about it. Exactly. But that's the thing though, my friend, and people else listening. Nobody's ever satisfied. Everyone wants more. It's never fucking enough. That's the funny thing. Even though I think in general, this is just my weird theory, but I think sometimes God gives us what we can handle. Right? God gives us what we can handle. Because God forbid I ever got the amount of fame, money that some of these young kids are getting, like the Aiden Ross and Kai Cenats of the world, I would have been dead by now. So God gives us things that we can handle at the time that we can handle it. But I also think in the case of someone like a Rogan, thank the Lord above, the guy that has all the money, successful podcast, and all this other shit, isn't 6'2" and doesn't have a full head of hair. Because imagine how insufferable and obnoxious and unbearable Rogan would be if he had a full head of hair and he was 6 foot plus, former Navy SEAL type. Could you imagine how annoying Rogan would be? The fact that he's got all the things in the world that he's got, but then he's got blessed with the height that he has and a bit of a body, it kind of keeps things in a bit of balance. There's a bit of equilibrium there. I think that's what God does. He kind of makes things balance, because Rogan would be he'd be a tyrant right now. So I think it's a good thing that he's where he's at. So thank the Lord above that we don't have anything else going on there. But yeah, I always find it funny because this explains why people don't really rag him on his. Have you noticed whenever someone does make jokes about his height, he laughs a couple times, but you can tell it gets to him. Even being a stand-up comedian, he doesn't like it too much. So yeah, we all have our insecurities, and for Rogan, so no matter how much money he makes, he seems to be very preoccupied about his height. That's why he wears really thick soles shoes. He stands in that weird way that he stands. Like, he's a bizarre human, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually surprised he never got that fucking surgery. That really controversial one that they do, where they kind of make you taller by fucking breaking your legs and shit and extending him. Like, ugh. I'm surprised he didn't get that done. I'm actually surprised, I'm not gonna lie. With all the stuff with gear he does, I'm surprised he didn't try and get his fucking legs extended. I really am surprised. But anyway, what can you do? 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 Let's move on. A video clip here. Any chance Will Sasso comes back for episode number 1000? This should be a good one. I think this is an impersonation, right? Yeah, I think it's an impersonation. Let's watch this. Will Sasso doing an impersonation. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Logan, let me say it out loud. Yeah, let me look right into
Macho
the
Man Savage.
horoscope. I eat your guts. And now, better than all the rest, even on Insight. Yeah, I'm here with Chris Van Vliet. Yeah, Insight, looking in, looking out, looking no pukesters to my left and no pukesters to my right. No, didn't need them then. Don't need them now, yeah. All I need, yeah,
so
is a
good.
little bit of insight.
So good.
Yeah, inches, Eugene. Yeah. Hey, yo, don't be a mark for taking the ropes.
That's so good. We've been doing this thing on the pod. Give me some more Scott Hall. Bring him back.
Hey, yo, Bret Hart, you stand for honor and dignity and doing the right thing, and Big Kev and I were in the back, and we just want to come out and tell you that we don't care.
Honestly, so fucking good. Now, on the subject of the question, I'm actually surprised, I'm not going to lie, by how clean of a break Will Sasso made with Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia when they got accused of grape and diddling, respectively. Considering how close they were, considering the legendary 10-minute podcast, considering all the amazing guest appearances Will Sasso made on T-Fat-K, guest appearances that Will Sasso made alongside Chris D'Elia on T-Fat-K, the chemistry he had with Brian, the fact that he made such a clean break away from Brian and Chris is proof that this man's a good man. He keeps his head down, he makes funny content, and he stars in TV shows and movies from time to time. That's it. He's got the perfect life, really, to be honest. He doesn't bother anybody. He's literally in it for the bants. He's in it for the lols. He's in it for a good time and nothing else. And he wants nothing to do with all that nasty shit. So I don't think there's ever a chance he comes back. I don't think he's actually even spoken about them at length. I think he mentioned them once on Theo's pod, but he basically avoids talking about Brian or Chris. He basically wants to pretend like they never were his friends and shit, which is again admirable. He seems to be the only fucking comedian that has a admirable kind of principled stance against all that shit, most likely, you know, when it comes to diddling especially. He's probably not a fan of it, which is understandable. And yeah, he's completely moved on. He's never ever looked back, and I have to give that guy a lot of ratings, bro. I don't ever see him ever coming back on T-Fat-K anytime soon. It would be pretty cool, obviously, and I think it probably would be their funnest episode. But if you also remember, I always got the feeling, I don't know if you guys agree with me, I got the feeling he was kind of annoyed during the COVID thing. Remember when they had that COVID back and forth? That was a pretty funny one when Will Sasso kind of ripped them. Will Sasso, was it Brendan? Is it COVID? Do you remember? Where he destroyed him about why they're doing shows during COVID and shit. Let's see if this is the clip. I think this might be the clip actually. Is it a clip? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this one. Do you remember this?
Providing the news, because clearly no one would just go into a fucking studio somewhere to record a podcast.
You're right, dude.
That's not about MMA. I don't know. And just, you know, to fucking just shoot the shit, right?
Thanks, Will.
Right.
Thanks, Will. I appreciate it, Will. You know what's crazy, too, is we've actually doubled down. We have three episodes a week now.
That's right.
During this quarantine time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because we are essential because we break it down, bro.
And tell them, how's business being?
Better than ever.
Big up.
Welcome to 2024. I don't think he is cool with diddling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big up Theodore, yeah. Will Sasso thinks diddling. Will Sasso's got a very controversial opinion. He doesn't think diddling's cool. Will Sasso thinks rapists are really bad guys. Big up Theodore. Exactly.
Booming. I was hoping you said booming.
Booming.
Okay, so while that's good. So while the people who do real work in this country are suffering by staying home, you guys are capitalizing on that by making money. And let's move on to that news. So what do you guys have to fucking tell me about the coronavirus as if you know what the fuck?
I got the feeling, again, this is just my observation. At the time he said this, he was joking, but I also think he was actually enraged like the rest of us. Like, why the fuck are these two unfunny motherfuckers who are on the worst podcast ever the ones who are flying the flag for fighting against COVID lockdown measures and shit? Why are they the ones that need to be fucking touring the country? Why are they the ones that need to be doing fucking meet and greets while we have... You remember, this is also during the time where we were seeing those fucking... I'm not sure if they were propaganda films or whatever they were at the time, but we were all scared in our houses, and they were showing us videos of people in China being buried in fucking open morgues. I think it was somewhere in New Delhi or maybe India somewhere, where they were literally... They had open air fucking morgues where they ran out of spaces in fucking cemeteries to bury people, so they're literally burning them in piles in fucking India. And these guys are touring around the country, doing their fucking shitty stand-up gigs and stuff, and doing fucking meet and greets. Brendan at the time caught COVID like 17 times, and every time he caught it, he kept saying, I feel better than ever. My cardio has never been better. I went on a 7-mile run at 3 a.m. in the morning and I feel better. It's like, bro, you're obviously lying, but Jesus Christ. So I think Will Sasso at the time actually felt annoyed about these guys, going against the COVID restrictions, and it kind of made him look at them a bit differently.
Oh, no, hold on.
Well, what questions you got, Will?
Couple things. Both he and I are negative. Away. Everybody in this room is negative. Number one.
Big up Jody the Flame. T-Fat K was in demand. Don't hate Zinga. Okay, fair play. Yeah, exactly. T-Fat K got us through COVID, innit? T-Fat K got us through COVID. It got us through a hard time, T-Fat K.
Number two.
You've all been tested.
Number two.
Wait a minute. You guys have all been tested?
Yep.
Yeah.
For what?
Corona.
For antibodies. Turns out we're all negative.
Are you talking about that virus that may be asymptomatic?
Yeah, but
blood test, brother.
Blood test, brother.
Blood test.
We took blood tests.
Cool. So you guys all live together then?
Well...
No, that's weird. So basically that blood test meant nothing.
Oh, big up Will Sasso. Fucking legend. I fucking love Will Sasso, man. Again, I'd love to have him back on episode 1000 of T-Fat K, but I don't think it's going to happen. He fucking hates those guys, and I can understand why, Moving on. Let's take a break quickly and talk about academics. I've now sat on my thoughts, or I've been, I've sat with my thoughts. And I've taken in all the information via the lawsuit. And you know what I think now about academics' lawsuit about that rape shit and defamation? I think he's innocent. I don't think he raped that girl. But I think he's in trouble because he publicly embarrassed her. Hear me out. I think she did willingly go to his house under the assumption that they would probably fucking hang out. But I think what ended up happening was that she got too fucked up, as sometimes girls do, especially when they're a bit nervous or whatever. She probably drank way too much, started doing things she probably would never do sober, such as having threesomes with those two guys, then regretted it, but then academics like a fucking bozo blasted it out to everybody, and it was put out in public and she got embarrassed. And if I remember correctly, didn't she have a boyfriend or a husband or something? Obviously it's fucking crazy to think that, but she went to somebody's house. But I think in the midst of all this shit, she was either had a boyfriend or a fiance or something. So you're in a serious relationship, now everyone knows you went to his house. Now everyone knows you had a threesome, which you don't usually do. So you're feeling embarrassed about it. So she's now trying to protect herself and cover her back by doing this whole like rape fucking timeline. But obviously, most of it is his fault because he's the one that fucking blasted it out. But I don't think he's guilty of the rape. That's my theory now going forward. I don't think he actually raped her like that lawsuit kind of details he did. Like he forcibly raped her. I don't think that's the case. I think they did have consensual sex. I just think she was fucked. But I also think academics is a lame. Because I think academics exist in the world. I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but I grew up with a bunch of guys and in a neighborhood and at a time where it was never a win to get off with a girl that was drunk. Sometimes you'd go out of your way to kind of distance yourself from them, to put them in a cab and shit, but it was never a win. It was never looked as, oh yeah, you got it by fucking some girl that was fucked up. Ever. You never did that. But I think academics is from another generation of people who think every win is a win, whether she's fucked or not. So he still fucked her anyway, even though she wasn't probably all the way there with it. Which some people could say counts as rape, whatever. I'm just going to go down the conventional, what she's describing as it being a forceful. I think they did have consensual sex. She just probably forgot because she was too fucked up. And obviously he went then to publicly embarrass her online. Going forward though, I wonder if this could be a start of a change. Could we see the reintroduction, or could we see an evolution in this whole like manosphere space? Because I watch it from afar, and I think it's full of, as Daniel Clements is saying in the chat, I think that whole alpha male bro fucking scene is full of generational lames. Guys that just go out and get money and try and make up for their shortcomings and insecurities with money and material things. But I want there to be an evolution where we start to get into like an evolution of like the PUA scene. Remember Pickup Artist? Maybe not as crass as that. Maybe not as like peacocky, manipulating kind of thing, but more so in the gentlemanly, like Riz Academy. Let's say Riz Academy, like how to actually, quote, with lack of a better term, like seduce a woman, how to like, present, how to be the coolest, best version of yourself. Maybe that should be an evolution, because that'll be actually quite fun to watch. Maybe I'm a bit in the minority, but I think that'd be quite interesting to see guys do that instead of what we see now, where these guys are on these live streams shouting and screaming at OnlyFans girls and telling them that they're worthless, belittling them, embarrassing them, and it's just nonsense. I don't understand this whole like scene. So maybe this academics thing that he's going through will spurn a change, and we'll start to see that content going forward. Or maybe not. Maybe kids enjoy seeing some guy with a big fancy watch and a weird haircut and his hands in a triangle sign berating girls and telling them they're not worth anything and that they don't deserve anything, and men are the apex predators and they should just cook and clean and shit out babies and shit. I don't know, but I would prefer to see a world where these guys who are coming into money, who are trying to like navigate the world, who are growing up being young men, they try and realize, oh, let's try and figure out a way to present ourselves online to increase our chances of getting the mates that we want. And let's also maybe sell these courses, but sell them under the guise of like, hey, here's how to become the best version of yourself. Yeah, and have it be about being cool. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree or if that makes sense, but I'd love to see that sort of stuff going forward. I really would, because I'm fed up with the other shit. I am. I'm really fed up with it. But hey, what can you do? Moving on. Let's play a Snort Hogan video featuring the one and only DSP. Let's play a Dark Side Phil video, because I fucking love Dark Side Phil. I hate to love Dark Side Phil, so let's play the new Snort Hogan video featuring Dark Side Phil. The title is DSP Just Can't Stop Bringing Up Support and Begging. Let's see what this motherfucker's begging about right now, right? Let's see him begging again, which I always fucking hate to watch. Let's see Dark Side Phil begging.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Tell you. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Yo.
All right, so that's the shout out so far. I have no tips whatsoever to shout out. Okay, nothing. So once a tip comes in, if a tip comes in, I'll shout it out.
I hate that shit. He does that all the time. Like, he does it like passively, aggressively, and like the most lacking in subtlety thing. Like when you get a tip, that's the first tip of the day. Thank you so much to the first tip of the day. Thank you to whoever Cloud12570 for the first tip of the day. Like, fucking piece of shit, bro. Honestly, the day he gets fucking demonetized from YouTube will be a good thing.
And thank you in advance to anyone who supports.
DSP has spent over 17,000 views since January 1st on WWE Champions.
Yo, he is insane. And that's the thing about him that is almost kind of comforting. Even though he asks for money every day, it's never enough. Every day, almost like, you know what he does every day? Almost like he does that Men in Black thing to himself. Remember the stick that they have to make your memory go away? It's almost like he does that to himself every morning. He turns on his stream, or after every stream, He wants $150 every stream. If he gets it, the next stream, it doesn't matter that he got $150 a couple of hours ago. He wants $150 again. It doesn't matter. It's just the same thing, and it never fucking ends. And I love the fact that how he always has to be in distress as well. I think Meerkat pointed out the other day. I was watching fucking Meerkat streams, and he was basically saying, yeah, DSP's model, his business model, is always being in distress. He can never be in a good position. He's like the opposite of Wings in a way. Wings now is kind of like doing well, buying cars and not really asking for money, or want to hit the tip score every time on his streams. So he's kind of settled out on it. There's never going to be a time in DSP streams where he kind of stops begging for money. He's always going to be begging because he always needs to be in distress to be the eternal victim. So you feel sorry for him and you can give him more money. Fucking piece of shit.
The stream today. By the way, another way you can support the stream is by giving it a like. Simply giving it
Look
a
at
like.
the eyes. Look at the eyes.
That helps the channel too. I
Look
don't
at the
mention
eyes.
that as much as I used to, because I used to talk about it all the time and kind of got tired of just saying the same shit all the time. But likes help. If you're watching this on demand, liking this podcast and leaving comments on it helps. Becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber helps. It's been
Shilling YouTube Premium is fucking the worst thing ever, isn't it? Right? Like, what?
is the same as watching all the ads on this channel. And if you're becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber, this is something that I got wind of recently. You can get YouTube Music, which is another app that comes for free if you're...
Comes for free. Pause. By the way, why are you promoting YouTube Music? You don't listen to music. DSP can't two-step. DSP can't dance. He can't sing. Fuck off, bro. YouTube Music. What are you playing on YouTube Music? The Super Mario theme song.
Of YouTube Premium subscriber. You can subscribe to all of my podcasts. Like, you can subscribe to the Daily Wrap. You can subscribe to this show. And then you get it daily in your feed as if it's a podcast on, like, iTunes. It's pretty neat the way...
Big up Joe from MIA. My brother in Christ. I am but a mere man. But what purpose does DSP serve on earth? That's why he fascinates me. I know some of you guys hate this guy when I talk about him on here. But I'm fascinated by him because I mentioned it before. He's got, like, I think Austin Casey mentioned the term. I think it's like first move advantage. So he was one of the first ever proper let's players and, let's say, quote unquote content creators on YouTube. And because of that, he's been able to sustain a career, even though he's terrible at what he does. He's a horrible person, very unlikable, doesn't really have any, good traits about him. Could probably do with leaving the internet to kind of give himself a better life and shit. But he's been able to scrimp and claw his way and hang on for dear life, which is why they call him the pig roach, despite being a horrible person. All because he was on the platform first and just didn't stop. It's kind of proof that if you just don't stop doing something, eventually it'll work out, right? But he's like anti everything that you would describe as a good content creator. He really doesn't like giving feedback. He's very insulated. He doesn't like collaborating with other content creators. He doesn't like when people talk back to him. He's an awful person overall. He begs and fucking cheats his fans for money. He wastes it all on fucking gambling games. He seems to be constantly drunk when he's on stream. He looks like fucking shit. He's got a fat wife. Like, he's an awful person, but he's still here. For me, that's fascinating. I don't know why, but I find it fascinating.
Way that they've set it up like that. So you could just have a whole queue of these things. You could, you got a daily commute. You listen to it when you're at work, or maybe you're in school and you don't fucking care about your teacher, so you listen to this show instead. I mean, I don't think you should do that. I don't recommend it, but I can't stop you. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of laugh is that?
You can do that. Like,
this guy doesn't have any human communication or human contact. What kind of laugh is that? Where did that come from? That fake laugh.
End it, but I can't stop you.
What the fuck was that? Ugh.
I'm saying, but you can do that. Like, I think that's a great way to get the show delivered to you. So maybe consider becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber. That would help me out and you out.
We don't want to help you out. You're a piece of shit.
All right, so guys, now we're gonna open up the show to open Q&A.
DSP is doing what he was meant to be doing, staying away from most normal humans. Imagine him cooking someone's food or having to count on him at a workplace.
Good fucking point, Theodore. Excellent fucking point. That's actually a good point. As much as I would love him to, like, hit rock bottom and have to get a regular jobs because he's such a prick and talks so down on people that have regular jobs, like, he actually has the worst opinions on, like, regular people despite him having this privileged position. It's actually for the better that he doesn't. He actually made a good point there. It's actually for the better that he's actually in his little fucking snort fort on that horrible fucking streamer chair that he thinks is a fucking throne. Even the way he fucking sits on that fucking chair right? It's actually for the best. It's actually for the betterment of humanity that he isn't amongst us regular people. Because if he was, someone would die or he would probably die. Joking.
Discussion. If contributions come in, I will shout them out. But if you tag me in the chat, we're going to do some kind of open back and forth discussion, okay? So particularly, hey, you have any opinion on anything I mentioned on the show today, the upcoming schedule, or for example, how I should cover these upcoming events, let me know.
And I hate that bit about him too. Always wanting feedback on what to do. Just make up your own mind. It's your own show. Why are you telling? Why are you trying to crowdsource what you should do? Like, oh guys, what game should I play? Here's a poll. What did I? Just pick one. You fucking fool.
All right, we got a little bit of extra time. If anyone would like to chat, please tag me.
He wants a tip
or,
so badly.
Again, if a shout out comes out,
he wants a tip so
comes
badly.
in, I'll shout it out.
He wants a tip so badly.
All right, anything else, guys? It's 12:30.
No tips.
About the time when I would look to end the show, but we don't have to end the show.
No tips.
If you have more things to discuss, we can keep going for a bit. You just gotta tag me, or again, if shout outs, if any contributions come in, or we can adjourn it and start to get ready for Fallout 4.
I love how ratty he gets. He gets so ratty when there's no tips. He's literally like an addict. Like he's like me when I'm looking for the last baggie. Like I'm trying to pace it all out. Hold on. If I have someone now, will I have someone in an hour? Do I have enough for tomorrow?
All right. So anyway, guys, good mission, right? I guess we'll keep checking out what else we want to do today. But good stuff, good progress, and let's continue on.
By the way, do any of you guys use these headphones? I've only ever seen Darkside Phil use these toilet seat neck headphones. They're so bizarre. Why would you use that? Just because he gets I think he says he gets ear infections, which is basically another, another excuse for saying that he doesn't wash properly. He doesn't wash behind his ears. He definitely doesn't wash behind his knees. He doesn't use a fucking, whatever to kind of get all the gunk out and shit. But have you ever seen anybody else use these fucking neck phones that he wears? That collar thing. Like, what the fuck is that?
Okay. So everyone, FYI, we're about an hour through the stream. Still 2 hours to come on the Fallout 4 stream. Ooh, stretch here.
Yo, big up Koila. Yeah, he probably doesn't tip DoorDashers. You would love to hear his opinion on fucking charity. Maybe I'll do that for the next stream, or you can do it yourself. Check out Darkside Phil's opinion on charity. You'd love it. Then you'd get all your answers. His opinions on charity is fucking brilliant. And big up Jack Donny Jr. I worked with a guy that used them. He was weird. Good to know.
Jasper Kitty's with me. He's actually on the floor. But my wife will be home probably within like a half an hour or so. So when she comes home, obviously we'll take a brief break to get Jasper, out of the office, hanging out with her. And I'll probably turn on the air conditioning at that point because I gotta close the door. But just so you know, probably an interruption in roughly 20-30 minutes. Okay. Whoa, shit. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone supporting the stream today. Anyone who super chatted, did a membership or a tip, thank you so much. We're at the tier 1 goal of $52. If we happen to hit 100 today by the end of the stream, you'll vote on a hat for me to wear. Not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's the next thing that would happen if we hit it. And thank you. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like the stream. That helps a lot. And thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Let's continue. Okay, so we just finished the All Hallows Eve mission.
Yo, big up Kryptonic TV. No, I agree with you, brother. Having a fat wife isn't an issue. I've bust down a few fat things in my lifetime. Probably a lot more than I'm fucking I'm maybe stuttering. Probably a lot more than I'm proud to admit. Right? But the issue with DSP is this. He puts a lot of stock. Remember when he broke up with fucking Kat, or when Kat left, when fucking, what's her name? Panda Lee left. He put a lot in stock in like getting a new woman who looked like she was in shape, and he was showing her off like, look guys, see, I'm a fucking grown adult with a business degree. And he was kind of showing off the fact that she looked the way that she did and she had the face and whatever. And now that she's fat, he doesn't talk that much about her anymore in that way. Do you know what I mean? So that's funny. But the sad thing about the fatness, by the way, I don't know if any ladies in the chat will agree. I heard somebody make a really bad and really depressing observation. They were saying that if somebody's depressed or doesn't want their partner to touch them, so sometimes the fat could be because they're comfortable, but sometimes if they get crazy fat the way that Kat has got, which is basically obese, it's almost like a defense mechanism, so their partner doesn't touch them anymore or doesn't see them as like a sexual being. because before they put them on a pedestal because of what they look like and their body and shit. So then they purposely get fat as a way to like stop the husband or partner from fucking them and shit. That's kind of depressing, isn't it? I remember someone said that. I was like, oh God Almighty, bro. Is Kat purposely like gorging herself so that DSP leaves her alone? Oof.
Crap. Almost just tripped. Okay. Let's get ready to resume. And guys, again, thank you. You've been a great audience this afternoon. I hope you're enjoying Fallout 4. Please stick with me for the next 90 minutes or so that I'll be playing. And again, any support tonight, greatly appreciated. All right, let's continue.
Oh, and by the way, on the subject of fat girls, you know what I was thinking about just now regarding the new thing that I want to see in this whole like manosphere space of guys actually talking to women with kind of respect and actually trying to push the whole like being a gentleman and being a good day and how to treat women well and just using that as a kind of way of like life and not like the whole like having cars and treating girls like shit and, you know, basically treating women like they're beneath you. Do you know what I think? It's necessary. And I think this is a thing that I don't know if you guys agree with this. I think every man needs to get turned down by a fat chick or by a girl that they think is ugly. I think you need to go through that. You need to go through trying to pursue somebody who you think is beneath you, then them turning you down. I think that does wonders for your game. That improves your riz tenfold. To have somebody that you didn't really regard as you know, beautiful or hot or fuckable, turn you down, like say, go fuck yourself, you know, in certain terms, that will literally turn you into a savage. That will turn you into a fucking riz god. Because then you'll realize, oh, it's not always about the looks, is it? It's about the personality. It's about how you come across. It's about, you know, what you're into and the vibes that you give off and your ability to talk to somebody and blah, 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 blah. All those things are super important, I think, more so than your ability to like make money, buy fancy cars and watches and cool clothes and drinks and shit and impress girls that way. I think that's actually a fundamental part of becoming like, you know, a real, you know, Lothario out here and an actual gentleman in that kind of way. Like a respectable fuckboy, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I am back. We'll save up, stretch my legs here a bit, and then we will do one more hour of Fallout 4 for today. Turn off this light. There it is. Let's do a little save here. And then we shall continue. Excellent. Okay. So everyone, it is the final hour of our Fallout 4 stream for today. I hope that you're all enjoying. Thank you for chilling, and thanks to those who contributed. Just going to stretch my legs here for a second. And then we'll continue. Yeah, Ratio 91 says, I played with the Pikmin Blade quite a lot. I like how quick it is and less AP needed. A lot of little stabbies.
The pajamas with the... I love how he does this thing now where he wears these dress shirts because LTG took the piss out of his outfits and called him a bum. But then he doesn't make the effort to put on some trousers. He still wears his PJs. He probably wakes up... I have a feeling he probably wakes up 10 minutes before he streams. Barely washes his face, probably doesn't brush his teeth, and just jumps in front of the camera and starts talking. That's probably my theory. He doesn't do anything else. He's literally a shut-in. An actual shut-in. It's fucking crazy. And to make $100,000 a year begging people with one wife, a cat, and still need money is fucking gross. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't have a life. He doesn't do anything. Vices, what? DoorDash. Maybe to be fair as well, to be fair to him, if you're spending all your money on gambling, on that gambling app thing, that game, WWE Champions, and you're also ordering DoorDash every day, because I have a theory, or most people have a theory, that he orders DoorDash every day, like at least for dinner, every single day, and you're also drinking, that adds up, doesn't it? DoorDash orders every day, he's going to add up. I don't know about you guys in the chat, how often do you guys order delivery food? I don't really order that much, to be fair. I usually go out to buy it. It's kind of my way to kind of punish myself. If I want to buy shitty food, I have to go to McDonald's and pick up myself, but I don't really order that much. Maybe at the height of my ordering, might have been 2 times a week, but I know some people order every fucking day. So if you order every day, the menu prices on DoorDash and delivery apps are already, you know, a little bit more expensive than what you'd get when you walked in store. That's a lot of money, man. So maybe that money could go pretty easily. If you're gambling, drinking a lot, and you're ordering food every day, that money's going to go very quickly.
Some people in chat are saying they actually like to have the stream open when they're working or doing other things, and that's why they don't talk that much. It's all good. It's all good. I'm very happy to have you all. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, big up Coil. Exactly. I'm the same, bro. I'm the same. Exactly. If you order for 2 people, it's already, even in London, I think 2 people, like nowadays, I think I'm lucky because I'm I'm not sure about you guys, but I actually prefer the saver meals over the regular standard stuff at McDonald's. Especially the UK, we don't have that many great burgers. So I usually get the saver options more so than the main one. So it works out quite cheap anyway. But if I do get it, I'll usually go to a shop and buy it myself. And it's usually nice to go for a bit of walk, put on my fucking headphones, listen to some music, go pick it up, people watch for a bit and then come back. I prefer doing that if I have to buy it. You know what I mean? Try not to, but if I have to.
Dark Souls Master says, how's it going today? Going good. Good progress, right? We got several levels.
Yeah, wild one, Andrew W. Hope you're well, brother. Welcome.
Did some miscellaneous questing. Got some good new... I'm glad I got 2 new melee weapons because I was tired of using that Krem's Tooth or whatever the fuck it was called. Now we have cool new weapons to try. So, this is cool. It's going to make the playthrough more interesting, for sure. Okay. Alright, so we're going to continue, guys. Another hour. Thanks for being here. Any additional support would be greatly appreciated. But I'm happy with so far how things have gone, so thank you for that. Remember, tonight the late stream is Street Fighter 6 Blanca gameplay. My final session of Street Fighter 6 before they change the game on Wednesday. So it should be neat to see the final, last hurrah for year 1 Street Fighter 6 if you can make it. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. So everyone, thank you. Great stream today. Right? Great progress. I'm sad that we didn't max out Curie's
He's still begging for money. Still begging for money.
For the affinity, so she'll heal us. But outside of that, this is a good stream, right? Good stuff, good progress.
You got $52 for playing fucking Fallout. A pretty boring game to watch somebody play, and you're still fucking complaining.
You guys were awesome. You hung out, and we're a great engaged audience. I really appreciate that. For those of you who are continuously watching this on demand on DSP Gaming on YouTube, thank you. I really appreciate that you're following along the playthrough. And FYI, I should say this for transparency purposes.
FYI,
we have
voice. FYI.
Have a lot of new content coming up soon. We got a new game. We got an update to a major fighting game. We got some indie games I'm doing in a marathon that might lead to playthrough. So I'm going to continue with Fallout 4, but it may not for the next week or so be played as often or at all. But we will definitely get back to it. It will be in the rotation again. So if you're watching these videos or you're watching the stream and then all of a sudden there's no Fallout for a while, you know what's going on. It's
no one
that it
cares.
Went on hold.
No one
there's
cares.
so much other new stuff coming out right now that we're kind of a little bit busy with it. But I promise you I'm going to get back to it because I really...
Oh yeah, true. Big up RP the dollar menu. I fucking forgot about that. Yeah, that was true. Saver menu used to be the dollar menu, didn't they? £1, bro. What happened to that shit? Is there anything on the menu you can get for £1? Yeah, there is the only thing you can get on the menu for £1 at McDonald's, I think it's a hamburger, right? Isn't it? The classic hamburger is the only thing that's like 99p. Fuck.
Really enjoyed this, and I think this could be like a nice playthrough to balance with other stuff over the early summertime here. So, all right, everyone, thank you. Great Fallout 4 progress. I will see you next time for more. Okay, everybody. So I want to say...
These are the best bits, by the way. This bit is the best bit, and we'll move on to the Brendan stuff. This bit where he turns off the stream and he does the unrecorded segments. These are the best bits for me. Where he thinks nobody's watching.
Thanks to everyone who chilled and supported the stream today. I appreciate that. Please remember that tonight there is a second stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. It will be my final Street Fighter 6 stream of the first year. As of Wednesday, essentially there is a year 2 update where they're going to rebalance the whole game in Atacuma. That'll change it up a lot. So I hope you'll join me tonight for the final ever Blanca session before that change happens, okay? Everyone enjoy the break. I will see you all tonight for Blanca and Street Fighter 6.
Get
Peace
fucked,
out.
you cunt. Anyway, keeps begging. You know how it is. Standard protocol for fucking Dark Side Phil. Anyway, let's switch. Let's do the Brendan SCHAUB on SCHAUB show, and then we're going to kill out. So this is Brendan SCHAUB, latest episode on the fucking SCHAUB show. Let's see what he's doing and what is happening over there on the fucking SCHAUB show. And let's hear what I'm actually curious to hear what Brendan says regarding his prediction of Fury versus Usyk, because he did predict it'll be a boring fight. He did predict that Fury would win on points. So I'm curious to see what Brendan says now. What does he say now? I'm curious to see what he says now. This will be very, very telling to see how he tries to paint this, story of what happened. Does he try and repaint the history? Just try and repaint history? They try and rewrite the narrative? Or does he stick to his guns and say Fury did win? Let's see what Brendan says in episode number 386 of SCHAUB Show. Come on, let's go. Yo, big up.
Quick question. With all the backlash against Drake being a culture vulture, do you think more people will now criticize Adam 16 for also being bad for the culture, aka exploiting it?
Yo, big up Austin Casey. Brilliant question. I think that actually happened already. I think that's the residual effects of that podcast he did with Joe Budden, where they ripped into him. Joe Budden, again, he probably handled it pretty well, but I think they asked the questions that everybody's wanting to ask about him. And he didn't respond.
Brandon!
Whoops. He didn't respond the best when he was really grilled on that question about how he exploits the culture. And if anything, it's got worse, actually. Ever since that Joe Budden interview where he sat down with those guys and they kind of grilled him, he didn't know, he's kind of got ambushed in a way. It's actually gotten worse. Like, that whole Crip Mac thing happened. Do you remember the Crip Mac thing? I think that was the thing that people saw Adam turning to his true colors. Crip Mac was out and about doing his content thing, right? And, causing havoc in the LA streets. But he was a big part of No Jumper. And Adam kind of, Crip Mac used No Jumper. Adam also used him. But then when Crip Mac got in trouble, I think for having a gun and went to court. I think he's in prison for it now, actually, because he had a gun while he's a felon. Obviously, he can't possess one. In court, I think he was allowed to have like character witnesses come to court and obviously speak in his favor. And he put down Adam, and Adam refused to go. And he made some excuse about, I'm busy, the businesses, da 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 da. So it's like, bro, you use this guy for content, you exploit him, and then when he needs you to provide a character assessment, you fucking leave him out to dry. You know what I mean? Fucked up. Anyway, let's play this clip. Big up Austin Casey.
Six Boy SCHAUB.
Good morning, fam. Monday morning, May 20th, coming in hot. How was you guys' weekend? Chin, I saw on social media you took a doozy. Your knees look pretty tore up. What happened, pal?
Well, first of all, the electric bike is badass.
Electric bike, yeah. That's great. Chin asked if you could borrow it. I said, say less, have fun.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
You said I can keep it too.
Yeah, I said if you want to just keep it, do your thing, return it, because I do love it myself, right? Because the sponsor can't be giving that out, right? You screwed me there. But enjoy it. But then also, I'm like, yeah, Chin, have fun with it. And then I see on Instagram,
Can you guys see me? Or am I lagging? Am I lagging? Am I lagging? Hold on, let me see. Am I lagging? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Oh no. Oh, is it going good? I think I'm lagging on here. Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me. Can you hear me? Can you see me? It's redacting. How about now? Frames are dropping. Okay, cool. Audio is fine, but frames dropping. Cool. Bear with me a second. It's good. Do a little dance so you can tell. Big up young old vibes. Okay, cool. Let's see if I can get the thing to chill for a bit. Bear with me a second. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, encoding error. Encoding error. So it's going a bit wild now, but let me just chill out a little bit. It should be fine. Hold on, bear with me a second. It's a little slow. Little slow. Kebab shop Wi-Fi. Should be fine now. It's not. Why is it not working? It should be fine. Bear with me a second as it kind of stays solid a little bit. I want it to drop down in terms of CPU usage. Bear with me a second, and then we can continue. If not, then I'll restart. Big up everybody in the stream chat. Appreciate you all. What's that? It's a SCHAUB effect, isn't it? Yeah, it is exactly. SCHAUB effect. Okay, cool. Let me restart and I'll come back. I'll restart and come back. Give me 10. Give me 10. Give me 10. Give me 10. Because it's not stopping. Oh, it's stopping now. It's stopping now. Cool. Now it's stopping. Now it's stopping. Whoopsie. Now it should be fine. Is it fine now? Is it fine now? Should be fine now. Okay. Let me stop and come back. Let me stop and come back. Let me stop and come back.